If you have a service or coaching based business and you need more leads for it, then this video is for you. I'm going to dive deep into the entire lead generation system and process that you can steal that's allowed me to sell over $2.5 million of coaching programs completely online. I'm going to share the entire strategy, entire thought process in terms of how you can replicate it, make it specific for your coaching business so you can grow, succeed, and drive things forward. And just for the record, before we dive into it, this system, this strategy for generating leads does apply for online businesses, but also just as importantly, works extremely well for in-person kind of one-to-one personal training sessions or salon businesses or therapy or physio, whatever it might be. It works for online and in person. The only big difference you need to keep in mind is if you're trying to use the system for in person, you just need to add one more step to it, and that's a locational strategy and step, which basically means you can qualify people who are local to you and close to you. If they are, then you can basically sell them your service. Let's dive into my whiteboard so we can kind of talk you through it, right? As you can see, at first impressions, the strategy and system is going to look rather simple. And that's because, a lot of the time people online and in this kind of space, if they don't know something, they try and overcomplicate it. We here keep it very simple, so you can basically replicate it, make a bunch of money online, and grow your coaching business as well. So effectively, there's only 5 big phases we need to look at when it comes to taking a business from zero, getting leads, getting sales for that business, and moving things forward. One big thing before we dive into all of this is you can probably see by now, but what typically happens when you're trying to generate leads is you're going to have the most amount of people on step 1, which is here, come through. You're going to have the most amount of people come through in step 1. So you're going to put a large people coming in at the top. And then as people go through your sales process and as people get to know more and more about your coaching program, naturally you're going to find some people are not ready. They don't want to invest and they want to commit and all of these different things, which is why it's super important at step 1, we have a lot of people coming into our world, which we can then sell them down the line, So let's dive into it. As you can probably guess, the very first thing we want to look at here is basically getting people to know what you do and how you do it. So let's just keep it simple. Let's just call this attention, right? What we want to basically do with this first phase here is get a system where we're able to consistently pull in attention on social media, right? Our clients do this for Instagram. So how are we able to get people to know us, know about us and what we do? The easiest way to do that is a couple ways, right? So a couple of different ways you can do that. If we zoom in, I'll basically talk you through each. So you can do that through many ways. One is through free content on the internet. So you might just post inside like Facebook groups, or you might post inside Instagram or school groups, anything. You can post free content, completely free, just post really good content. You have one piece of content that goes viral, you can then attract more people to work with you. So that's a very easy way to do it. Also, when you're starting out, the plus of doing it through this kind of strategy of getting people to know you is free, so there's no cost for you to create YouTube content like this, or Instagram workouts or recipes or training programs or whatever it might be. It's just free, so there's no kind of cost to you in terms of doing it. Another way you can do this is through paid ads. Paid ads, again, work extremely well for our clients. So what we typically get them to do is create free content, get their coaching business up to making their first £1,000-2,000 fully online within their business. Once they're doing that, they can reinvest a small percentage. So we recommend around 15% investment into paid ads. And then paid ads just basically amplify the free content and the organic content they're posting to basically put fuel on the fire and grow things even further. So that works really well for that reason. Otherwise, as you get more clients coming in and as you have things working even more, we can also look at referrals. Referrals, again, just it's so easy to sell to people that have been referred to your coaching business because they know you, they know about you from your friends. They've probably told them about how good of a coach you are. They've done a lot of the selling for you. Most of the time, you just need to jump on a call and basically take their payment, right? It's super simple and it's really, really high intent, right? So that's the very first thing we need to look at. So how are we getting attention. Like, how are we getting people to know about what we do and how we do it? If you're starting out, if you just master one of these, you do really, really well. For our clients, what I'd recommend to start off with, and if you're watching this and you're starting from zero, I would recommend looking at free content first. Get your free content to kind of be getting people to know you, what you do, how you do it. And as that's happening, and as things are growing, and you can reinvest that profit into the paid content. We have super in-depth training around how you can get your content, your organic content, your free content to convert. If you do want to check them out, just click on the description below. You see other videos that basically cover the free content strategy as well. So that's the very first thing we need to nail. Once we have this, the very next step from here is, as we're getting, consistent followers, consistent people liking our content, viewing our stories, if it's on Instagram, the next thing we need to do is have warm conversations. So warm leads, we'll call it, right? How are we having warm leads from our content? One of the best ways you can do this as you're starting out is by just having people, but just by posting really good Instagram stories and getting people to react to these stories, asking for the free stuff you're posting, right? So you might post one which is like, I have this goal. If you're looking to achieve this goal, bullet point 1, 2, and 3. Like, here's an example of this, right? So you might put an Instagram story, Insta story, and the Instagram story might be, if you're looking to achieve this goal. So the goal might be, if you're looking to get shredded, lose body fat, and get in the best shape of your life, comment below or reply to the story saying shredded, and I'll send you the information, right? What you want to then do is that you have more and more people coming on your Instagram from your stories, from your really good content, and watching your stories. You're going to have more and more people message you for these kind of stuff and these opportunities for them to work with you. That's a really easy way to do it. Another way you can do this as well is to, now there's ManyChat which can do this. You can set up a really simple automation. So you have your organic content do the heavy lifting for you. It's bringing you attention, it's bringing you followers. You can then set up a very simple automation, and the automation might be just sending a message to anyone that's recently followed you, and a message might be, hey John, thank you so much for the follow. Here's a free resource you can watch, or here's a free PDF that you can go through and work through, right? It's just building so much more know, like, and trust, because these people are coming into your world and moving that forward. So a big thing here, as we're warming leads up, is just giving them more of an opportunity to get to know more about you and actually build goodwill, right? How are we able to build goodwill with people? By just solving small problems for them and by just getting them to know you. So how are we doing that? We're doing that for Instagram stories and by getting people into your DMs, right? Super simple here. What we want to do here is just turn the followers, the likes, the engagement you're getting into effectively warm leads. So just people you're speaking to in the DMs or over the phone, right? That's the next phase. And the third phase, from a lead generating perspective and a warm and a qualified lead generating perspective, is how can we turn these into booked sales calls? You would need quite a good DM system here. So like a very good DM system to be able to do that. So you might just have a few questions you want to find out before you book someone into a sales call. So you might want to know, what are their goals? What are they struggling with? Have they considered working with a coach? So it might be goals is the stuff you'd probably want to ask before you book a call. Goals, struggles, 1, 2 goals, struggles, qualify. So the qualifying here might be, have they considered working with a coach before, and then you'd want to offer a call. You might want to have a few more questions in here as well. So as our clients get more advanced, as you get more advanced as well in this process, you might want to ask more questions, right? When you're starting out, you don't really know what objections people have towards working with you. As you take 10 sales calls, 20 sales calls, you're going to start closing some, 50%, for example, as a ballpark. You start closing these calls, but the other half you're not going to close, and they're going to give you objections. They might say, dude, I really want to sign up, I'm just going to speak to my wife, or I didn't know the program's so expensive, right? whatever objections people give you, what you can then do is, rather than wasting your time and going on sales calls after sales calls with people that are not going to sign up, what you might want to do is ask questions, overcome these objections in your content and overcome them in DMs, right? So if someone always says, if you always get objections which are like, I need to speak to my wife, a question you might want to ask before you book a call to talk about your coaching is, if we could get you to achieve this goal, do you need to speak to anyone beforehand, or are you able to get moving forward with it today? They say, yeah, I can move forward. I just need to, understand how it works and if it's a fit. Then they can't tell you on the call, I need to speak to my wife. Just doing little things like that as you have more data, it's just going to skyrocket your close rate and your amount you're closing from sales calls as well. So that's a very simple thing you can do there. The fourth phase of all of this is you're going to start closing clients now, right? So the last thing here as well in terms of process is like pre-call process here as well. It's just going to optimize things even more, right? So now if you look at this entire journey so far, and stick around because number 5 is where things get really exciting. You can really amplify the growth of things moving forward as well. But effectively, the pre-call booking process here, what's happening now in your lead generation process is here, you're getting followers, growing your page. Now you're getting, DMs flooded, you're getting a lot of conversations, DMs, conversations, or chats about your coaching, all of these amazing things. Now you're booking calls, you're closing some of these calls, you're having clients you're working with, amazing, you're laughing. Now what we want to do is start thinking more like a business owner and start really optimizing your time as much as possible. So we want to stack as much of the chances as possible that when you do jump on a sales call, it's as close to certain that that person on the other side is going to sign up. How do we do that, you may ask? Very simple. We want to give people as much proof as possible that your program is going to help them overcome the struggle that they have, right? So, what that's going to look like for the most part is just put together a really in-depth, a really high-quality video that people can watch. You can literally film that over Loom, so there's no excuses. It's a 5-minute video, a 10-minute video over Loom, just saying something like, hey, John, thank you so much for booking a call today. Just to run you through how things work inside the program, here's everything that's included. Here's where we start. Here's the kind of goals you can expect to achieve, or here's the kind of results our clients expect to achieve. Here's why our program is, as close to certain to get you these results. If you don't feel confident that your program can get you these results, what you want to do before you build this video is look at kind of what can you do to almost make it almost close to physically impossible that if someone comes into your program, if they follow the steps, if they do the things, they're going to get results. How can we stack the chances as much as possible in our favor and in your client's favor to get these results, right? So it might be like the normal stuff. It might be the check-in support. It might be, it might be all of these different things you can include into your program to do it, right? And the easiest way you can do it is just think about over delivering as much as possible. And if it means having a higher price point on the program, it's not an issue at this phase, because what you can then do is have one which is a little bit higher of a price point with a lot more touch points, and you can have a slightly lower price point which has less of the features, right? But in this video, you're going to talk about the super high touch point program. You're going to talk about all the features, why it's so close to certain that they're going to get results. What we want people to feel when you're going through this is certainty, conviction, confidence that they're going to get results if they join the program and they follow the phases through, right? This is super important here. What we then want to do is set up a really simple automation where someone watches, like someone books a call, they can book the call through like a link, like a Calendly link, and automatically 2 things happen. Automatically, the minute they book a call, the second they click submit, they get sent to a video, they get sent to the video so they can watch it there and then. And then alongside that, they ideally get either a WhatsApp message or an email, or even better, both, just saying, hey, thank you so much for booking a call. Please make sure you watch this video before the call and let me know once you've watched it. They watch the video, they get confident, they get convicted that your program's going to do what you're telling them it's going to do, and they know how it works. So on the call, it's more of a formality. It's more about how can you build a little bit more a relationship, a little bit more of a rapport with your clients on that call, with your potential clients, and then how can you take the payment, how can you get them moving forward, right? Because the video, the process, the sequence would have done a lot of the heavy lifting already, right? That's what's super important there, to get things moving forward. And basically what we want to be looking here at with in terms of optimization is aim to be getting your close rate percentage around 89% or so is usually where our clients get to from this point on. So like obviously the reason the call rate, the close rate is so high is because the calls are super qualified at this point. You know, they've watched the video, they've answered the questions. You're not booking any John, Dick and Harry in the call. You're just booking people that are super qualified. It might be less calls, it might be 2 calls a week, or it might be 3 calls a week, but you know more often than not these people are going to sign up, and this is how you do that here, right? The very last thing you want to do with your lead generation process, and this is something that, you know, for some reason I see a lot of people just completely forget about, and this is why I feel like the space in general has a lot of, you know, bad reputation at the moment in particular, because a lot of people just for some reason seem to just obsess about doing this. How can I get paid? How can I get money in my pocket? You know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to nail this, right? And this is more in the kind of coaching and mentorship space, right? But a lot of people just nail this, just focus on this, obsess about this, but completely forget about this, right? The reason our business, my personal business that I put my name, my surname to, grows year on year is because of this thing that I'm going to talk about here as well, right? It's referrals and client amplification, right? How can we get from every client we get, and this is something that we nail, like we show our clients how to do inside the program as well, but how can we get from every single client we join, how can we physically obsess about having them have such an amazing experience inside the program? They get mind blown, they get amazing results, they get way more than they expect, that they refer people, that they send clients our way, because this makes it so much more fun, makes it so much more profitable, and so much easier to grow, succeed, and move things forward, quite literally exponentially forward, right? An easy thing you can do is when someone first joins your program, to just literally ask them, you know, do you have someone else that could be a good fit to work alongside you towards achieving these goals? You know, most of our clients are usually within 2 areas that they coach. So usually health, so health and fitness, you know, body composition, or relationships. It's either one or the other, right? So if those two, you know, like if it's a health program, for example, a fitness program, or fat loss, or a well-being program, you know, you might want to say at the very beginning, you know, a lot of the time we find if couples go through this program together, or if you go through it with a friend, you're probably going to stick to it more. You're going to have more of an enjoyable experience. You're going to get better results. You happen to know anyone that's a good fit, you know? And then behind the scenes, what we want to do as well is especially within the first 14 to 30 days, have such a mind-blowing experience of how good a program is, you know, like super high touch point. Everything is really well built. Everything is in the right place, and people can see that, and then they have no kind of almost like a choice, right? They just want to say the good things. They want to speak about it. They can be like, you wouldn't believe it, John, you know, just sign up to this program. It's so good. This guy's actually replying to my messages. He's, you know, really checking in. He just sent me this like really in-depth feedback on like, here's what I need to fix for my deadlift form or whatever it might be, right? We just want to blow them away, right? Blow them away, right? So have an amazing experience and refer people. That's something that you want to really obsess with here. So you can basically get more clients coming in from every client you come in. I didn't think on a video like this, I would say, just for disclaimer, I've just come back around